Hello and welcome to another video. So you decided you want to buy the latest XSR900 GP. You want to press that button and pay £12,500 for a brand new bike. Well, here are a few things that you should know before pressing the button. The XSR900 came out in 2016 and had an update in 2022 when Yamaha updated the bike with their latest prize-winning Delta Box frame, a frame that can be seen on many motorcycles from our current times. The first bike to get the Delta Box frame was the XSR900 GP bike back in 1982, but it didn't see mass production until 1985 with the XSR250. The XSR900 GP is 90% standard XSR900, with the major difference being the GP-inspired fairings, Marlboro and the Lucky Strike graphics inspired by racing legends Wayne Rainey and Eddie Lawson. You also get the higher foot pegs and the lower and wider handlebars that will provide you with a more racer ergonomics package. With several manufacturers introducing retro racers in their lineups in the past years, Yamaha decided to do the same and gave a run for their money to BMW's R1290 as well as MV Agusta Super Veloce and Triumph's Speed Triple RR as well as their 1200R Thruxton. Even though the Thruxton has a parallel twin engine, it still classifies as a retro racer in my books. Number 1. This bike will attract a crowd. If you're not the people's person, you'll have a hard time stopping at bike cafes enjoying a coffee with your mates, because people will come up to you saying how this bike resembles their childhood GP dream bike from the 80s and how they used to have a two-stroke Yamaha of some sort and how much they regret selling it because it would have probably fetched a lot of money in 2024. Also, the fact that it's a pretty rare bike will make people just come up to you and asking questions about it and how much did you pay for it. Nevertheless, you can always park and run away from the bike if talking to people is not your thing. Number 2. If you want to carry a pillion, you might want to reconsider your choice. Whilst the bike is fairly roomy for most people, carrying a pillion will just complicate things because the ergonomics are similar to a sports bike, with the rear pegs being placed quite high and the rear seat is very small for anyone to feel comfortable on it. Sure, you can make a compromise on short rides, but you will both struggle on rides longer than 45 minutes because, honestly speaking, this bike is just not made for that sort of use. The handlebar is lower than on the XSR900, so your passenger will most likely sit hunched over you, making the braking process similar to having a sack of potatoes thrown on your back. If you still insist on carrying a pillion, then there's this company in America called T-Rex Racing who does sissy bars for the XSR900. It's not confirmed yet if that sissy bar will fit your XSR900 GP, but I must say it will definitely ruin its looks. Number 3. The engine symphony is quite incredible. The CP3 engine, which you can find on the XSR900 GP, is the same engine you can find on the XSR900, the Yamaha MT-09, and it will also be on the brand new Yamaha R9, which was not launched yet. The CP3 engine is an inline 3-cylinder motor making 115 ponies that will make you want to stay in higher revs most of the times, just because it sounds so good. Having the Akrapovic exhaust fitted as standard, you will not be disappointed by the way this bike sounds. Miles per gallon are pretty much guaranteed. However, if loud isn't your thing, then the bike is quite docile in lower revs, and you can ride it like a granddad if that makes you feel safer, or if that makes your riding experience more enjoyable. Always ride your ride. I'm only giving you my thoughts having ridden the bike. Number 4. It's a very respectable bike on track. So if you like doing track days, this bike will definitely not disappoint most people. And I say most people because not everyone is a weekend racer or does racing on a daily basis. So for most people, it will be fine. If you're into track days that don't have a dedicated track bike, I think the XSR900 is a very respectable choice in that matter. With the cost of living being on the rise and not many people can afford multiple motorcycles, being a retro racer, the chassis, the suspensions, the brakes have a racing-derived pedigree from the older GP bikes, and with the Delta box frame, which enhances the heritage of the older race bikes, I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun on it. Sure, you'll not be setting any lap records and will struggle to keep up with the big liter bikes on the straights. That being said, if they're not being ridden properly, there's a high chance that you will outrun them. At the end of the day, track days are events for you to discover your motorcycle's capabilities and not about racing some random dude who is on a full kitted race bike. At the end of the day, you still need to ride your bike back home, so keeping that in mind, most of you will ride sensibly if you don't want to take the bus back home. Number 5. This bike is full of tech. I mean, loaded. So if you're not a very techie person, you will have a bit of a struggle. To start off, it has a 5-inch TFT digital display that replicates a mechanical RPM meter, and the speedometer is digital. Also on the display, you can find the gear indicator and the riding mode you're in, and it will display the bike's menu as well. If you're not in sync with the modern tech, you will find it a bit annoying and hard to use at the beginning, but there is nothing a good manual read can't fix, or maybe just watch some YouTube videos on how to use it. Additional features this bike has are the ABS, traction control, wheelie control, cruise control, and you can also adjust and tune the settings for each riding mode to your liking via the YRC, which is the Yamaha Ride Control. Similar on how the Yamaha R1 allows you to as well. To complicate your life even more, you can connect your mobile phone to the app via the My Ride Link app. And on top of that, you can use the integrated Garmin Street Cross if you want to use a turn-by-turn navigation system. It's true that most of us want to get on the bike and ride it straight away without having to press 1 million buttons and going through 10,000 menus. Just staring at the menu for like 10 minutes straight, adjusting how the traction control should be in what riding mode and what level of wheelie control you want on your way to meeting your mates at the pub. All the electronics on the bike are very incredible, but if you're not a very techie person, you'll most likely find all this stuff very annoying, especially if you come from an older bike that has zero electronics. If you found this video useful, make sure you subscribe, like and share. It will help me a lot to create more videos. Thank you and see you next time.